Hey guys, hope you're being well. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I felt like this is something that I should share because I've talked about on the channel before about, the importance of not giving up and like pushing yourself hard and, just that grind set and all that stuff. But I think the opposite of true. And I don't want to be like a walking oxymoron or whatever they call them, or like a contradicting myself, but I felt like this had to be said. And essentially the video today is about work and money, and those two things are not everything. What I mean by that is, I come from a background where, me and my mum, we weren't that rich growing up. We lived in a period of time where my mum had a husband and we lived in a rich area and stuff, but didn't last too long. And funnily enough, that person was not a pleasant person at all. In fact, one of the worst people I've had a rundown with, and I had to live with him for a number of years. But, we went back to living below our means and stuff like that for a long time until we, as a family, got back on our feet. But those times were much happier. Growing up, I used a lot of drugs. I dropped out of school. I didn't care about work. I didn't care about listening to my parents or honoring them, my mum specifically. And that meant that I had to find out the hard way that, you need money to survive. You need to work. I hated that. I resented that so much. But as time went on, I met my partner that I'm with now. We moved city and I said, you know what, I'm done mucking around, I'm gonna change my life. So with that newfound sense of responsibility and that drive, I got a new job and a new career, and I really put my head down. Initially, I was working 2 jobs for a month. I was going from working from 8:30 to like 11:45 at night or something like that, just in that transition period. But went to full-time work at this new career, and I just hustled, man. I just went so hard, and I was thinking about work outside of work and building spreadsheets and writing strategies and scripts and blah, blah, blah. Even up until recently, I've been working super, super hard. Now I went from, making well below the minimum wage to making more money than I know what to do with, truthfully. And that's not a boast, I'm not gloating. I'm just saying it's crazy how in that space of time in those 3 years, I really did manage to turn my life like 180 degrees around. Well, so I thought. It wasn't till, I guess, quite recently that I discovered that there was definitely a cost associated with making more money and working super hard. I neglected my friendships and my relationships. My partner and I had troubles because I'd come home exhausted. I'd sleep straight away, wake up at 8 p.m. and have dinner and then go back to sleep, or stay up even later and with anxiety or whatever. I stopped talking to my mum.
What would you call it? Pointism.
Yeah, just made a tiny dot.
Do you get the point of this one?
Just all these things just made me feel so lonely, and it was a product of my own work, if that makes any sense. With my videos, I stopped making stuff. I went like 3-4 weeks without making any content. I felt drained. I felt angry, like bitter, just exhausted. I realized it just hit me with a ton of bricks. And then at work, dealing with the things I have to deal with without revealing too much, obviously, I found myself losing the belief in the work that I was doing. And I was like, what am I actually doing? I feel like sometimes I have to have pretty miserable conversations and see some pretty bad stuff. And I just thought, man, like everything just sort of came crumbling down. Sure, it's great, but I'm not happy at all. Following that, obviously, I had some really personal challenges that I had to overcome. Facing the fact that I wasn't happy, that I wasn't sleeping enough. It was like 3-4 hours a night for the past few years. That my partner felt neglected and my friends were drifting apart from me, and that my mum was getting older and I hadn't been giving her the attention that she deserved. That realization was great. It gave me a lot of insight, and I started reading the Bible and learning about God and Jesus, and that gave me a lot of space to breathe. But I still had to work, and every time I went to work, I would just be so stressed out because I was having these conversations with people with these things in mind and feeling these emotions and just thinking, I don't know if I can be the same person as I was 2 years ago and just put my head down and work super hard. And that's hard to face because, I want to provide for my family and my partner, and I want to do cool things and see cool places, but it's not worth it almost. So yeah, that was really challenging. So I've been talking to my friends, my family a lot, my partner so much, and they've all been so helpful. I've been talking to people from YouTube even, the people that watch my videos and that are commenting all the time, like, thank you so much. And I don't just mean that, but everyone has been so helpful and just like pushing me along the right path and, supporting me and everything like that. But I've realized that sometimes you outgrow your situation. You change over time and your needs change. What I need is to be present in my life. Work isn't everything. The money isn't everything. If I'm alone and I'm not sleeping and I die by the time I'm 40, you know, like touch wood that I don't, what's the money worth? Am I quitting my job? No. I have a responsibility, but is this the right place? Do I move on? Do I do another role? Do I stop selling and do I help other people? What do I do now? I'm trying to like realign myself, you know, and to ask actually what matters and is this really for me? If I did give up my job and if I did move into a different role, I would be giving up a lot of money. And you know what? I was quite upset and scared and frustrated that I'd worked so hard and now it's not working out. And recently I really came to peace with it. And I was like, you know what? Life's pretty good. I feel like quite at peace. I love making these videos, I love talking to you guys. I love just being able to be myself and have the space to breathe. Sure, I think money and having funds certainly helps with that, living a higher quality of life. For me, there's a line that I felt like I crossed, potentially. Yeah, sure, I've got success in some ways. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would really kill for my job. And again, I'm not trying to boast. I'm not special. I'm just like you. I came from like the rough, you know, I'm not special. But, you know, if I'm successful, as some people may say, or have a high paying job or salary, but I'm not present, I'm not happy, then what's it worth? I guess what I'm saying is that if you're grinding non-stop, you know, and you're just working super hard, I commend you. I know how hard it is. I know that we all have stuff to do. We have dreams. We want to look after the people around us, or maybe you want to start a business or whatever. Great, do that. But I would just really caution anyone who's working super hard or anything, or you're worried about money, like stop and smell the roses. Think about the people around you, spend more time with them, you know, and appreciate what you've got right now. And don't lose sight of that. You know, if you want to start a new job and you want to make more money, go for it. Be my guest. I guess I'm just saying that I definitely lost sight of that. And I guess that's just my lesson for the day, my unsolicited advice to you guys. You know, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are just struggling mentally and you're pushing yourself, you're forcing it, you're just well and truly uncomfortable and unhappy, then you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? And if the answer is no, then yeah, you know what you got to do. You got to make some hard decisions, right? So as always, I'm super thankful for you guys watching the videos and being part of this community and being part of my channel. I'm very grateful. As someone who wants to do this full time and make more content, even having 1 or 2 people comment on the videos is just super cool. So I really do truly invite you, if you have had a similar experience, or if you have any questions or any advice for me, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Have a good day, have a good week. Don't burn yourself out, don't push yourself too hard, and be kind to yourself. And be kind to the people around you as well, because you don't know what they're going through either. That's all from me. I'll leave the ranting over for now. I do have a pretty cool video idea that I've got coming up in the next week, so we'll be less rambling next time. But anyway, you guys take it easy. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.